In this video, we'll show you how to replace the rear brake calipers on your Subaru Baja. This is located in the rear of the vehicle and behind the wheel. Let's get started. With the vehicle raised and supported, we can go ahead and remove our lug nuts with a 19mm. If you can't remove the wheel, you can thread one lug nut back on about halfway. Then I'm going to use a dead blow hammer and strike the back side of the tire. Try not to hit the rim. And we can remove the wheel. To help hold the brake fluid from dripping out while I remove the caliper, I'm going to use this hood prop rod to hold the brake pedal down between the seat and the brake pedal. Before we can remove the caliper from the brake rotor, we need to compress the piston in the caliper just a little bit. To do that, you can hook onto the brake rotor through the hole in the caliper and pry out just a little bit. We can remove the caliper pin bolts with a 14mm. I'm going to leave that one threaded in a little bit while I remove the other one. Now we can use a 12mm and remove the banjo bolt holding our hose to our caliper. You may still get some fluid drips out of this, so you want to have a container underneath the vehicle to catch any fluid. We can remove the line from the caliper. And we can remove the bolts holding the caliper to the pins. And remove the caliper body. We have two small access holes through the back of the knuckle that we can get through to the 14mm holding the bracket on. I'm going to leave that one threaded in a bit, and we'll get the other one loose. These can be a little bit difficult to grab through the knuckle, so I'm going to use a socket to turn them out. Our pads are pretty stuck on the rotor, so I'm just going to use a flathead screwdriver and pry the bracket off. We need to prepare our caliper to go on the car. To do that, we can go ahead and take the bolts holding the pins in out using a 14mm. We can apply some anti-seize to the area where the shim will mount on the bracket. We can do the same on both sides of the bracket. To install the shims, you can line up the tabs in the middle and press down. And we can do the same on the other side. It's good to hold on to the boot while you remove the pins, that way it doesn't pull off the bracket. We'll wipe the grease off the pin and apply some fresh silicone paste. As you install the pin, it's good to pinch any air out of the boot so that the pin can go all the way in. And we'll do the same to the other one. Now we can install this on the car. We get the bracket lined up over the rotor. I'm going to put the bolt in my socket. That'll help me thread it in. We can snug these up. And we can torque these to 58 foot-pounds. Now we can get the top and bottom ears of the pad into the shims that are in the bracket. Usually get one lined up first and get the other, then you can push the top and the bottom in. We can install the caliper body. You may need to push in on the pins to get this to line up. Then you want to make sure that the pins are at the correct angle and the flat is against the bracket. We can torque these to 28.9 foot-pounds. You can go ahead and remove the banjo bolt. I'm going to leave one of the copper washers on. Get that installed into the brake hose. And we'll install the other copper washer. Line up the brake hose on the caliper. We'll just snug this down and we'll torque this to 13 foot-pounds. Don't forget to remove your brake pedal depressor. Now we'll remove the bleeder screw cap. Go ahead and loosen up the bleeder screw. Looks like we're getting some good clean fluid out of there. We'll go ahead and close down the bleeder screw. And we'll just snug it down. And reinstall your cap. If you do have a spongy pedal still, you may want to do a full brake bleed procedure. We'll go ahead and remove the cap. Make sure you top off the reservoir. And don't forget to replace your cap. Line up the lug studs. I like to get one lug nut threaded all the way in. That'll hold it on while I get the rest on. We'll snug these down. We can torque these to 80 foot-pounds in a star pattern. We'll use our brake parts cleaner and clean around the cap. We don't want any dirt or debris falling into our reservoir. We'll go ahead and remove the cap. If you have a filter inside, you'll want to remove that now. Now I'll use a fluid extractor to remove as much fluid from the reservoir as we can. It's good to have a receptacle to catch any of the fluid. Now that we've extracted as much fluid as we can, we'll go ahead and top this off before bleeding our system. And don't forget to replace your cap. When bleeding our system, we need to do it according to the manufacturer's procedure order. We're going to start with the passenger's front, followed by the driver's rear, the driver's front, and then do the passenger rear. Starting at our first caliper, we can go ahead and remove the cap. I'll be using a 10mm brake line hose and some clear line so that we can see the air bubbles leaving the system. Now I'm going to have my assistant pump the brake pedal. My assistants let me know that they're holding the brake pedal. We can go ahead and loosen. Pedals at the floor, we can go ahead and tighten. We'll repeat this process until there's no more air bubbles in the line. Now that we have no more air bubbles coming out of our line, we can move on to the next caliper. Don't forget to reinstall the cap. We'll go ahead and remove our bleeder screw cap. For the rear calipers, we'll be using an 8mm. Get our hose on there, and we can have the assistant pump the brake pedal.
Holding.
Go ahead and release.
Floor.
Pump.
Holding. Floor.
Looks like we don't have any more air bubbles. We can go ahead and remove our hose and the wrench. And we can do the same on the other side. Don't forget to replace your cap. After you bleed each caliper, it's good to clean it down with some brake and parts cleaner. After bleeding the first two, make sure you top off the reservoir. And don't forget to replace your cap. Once all your calipers are bled, you want to make sure to fill the reservoir to the max line. Pump up the brake pedal and make sure it's nice and firm. If it's not, you might need to perform the procedure again. Make sure when you reinstall your wheels, you torque them to 80 foot-pounds. Take your vehicle for a road test. If the brake pedal feels firm, you're all set.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.